Hey guys, it's the Unsmooth Criminal, and I'm back with part 2 of What If Deku was Azura from Azure's Wrath. And in this part, we are going over the entrance exams, first day, uh, heroes versus villains, and hopefully I'm gonna be able to get a new, fighting arc done, because I want to do the... Oh, I've been missing the ultimate move training arc. Well, everybody gets normal ultimate moves. Everybody gets their normal ultimate moves, except for Mina, Azura, and, Azura has the last punch in her punching combo. And, um, who else? What is their name? Hagakure. Hagakure gets the Cheshire mode. And you'll know that when I get to it. But I've been forgetting that. So, let's get to it. So hopefully you guys enjoy this part. Let's get on to the story. So we start off with... we resume off with Mina and Nezu talking about tea. And Mina and Nezu are getting lots of tea from this conversation. And Mina is like, oh, that's so much tea to spill. So she continues on talking with Nezu, and Nezu goes, oh, it's time for the test. I shall leave you to it. And she goes, okay. And Nezu walks away and walks into the exam hall, or observation hall, and says, well, it's time for the test. And Mike goes, yes, sir. And he starts the countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7. And the doors start opening, and Azura's like, oh, God. So she powers up her quirk, and she starts punching the ground with all 6 arms. And she punches it like 10 times with all 6 arms. So she's ready for this. And the hypnotism helps with the control of her quirk, too, because it makes her remember the compliments instead of the hatred she has when she's in her quirk state. But if she's on death's door, it completely negates itself, the hypnotism, and makes her bring out the rage inside. So, and the compliments also slow down her progression from 1% to 0.1%. So she doesn't get as big of a multiplier. She gets plus 0.5 of the total that's already there. And so she gets times 1.5 each time. And so she's currently getting ready and working on the test. And she sees the gates opening, so she just bolts right through it. She's fast enough to, and I'll be right back. Gotta call my cat. So if there's random pauses through this, that's because I have to call my cat. But hopefully he comes in the next call, so I don't have to randomly pause. So everybody is just like, what the hell is she doing? And Bakugo sees it and he's like, I gotta go. So he runs through, beating up the robot, and he's like, what the hell are they doing? You haven't even finished the countdown. He's like, huh, they're smart. There's no countdown to a real battle. Why the fuck do you wait for me to say one go? And they're like, the hell? What kind of announcer are you? And he goes, I'm the hero, President Mike. I gotta be ready at any time. And they go, oh, so we have a pro hero as our presenter. Okay. And they get ready. And he's like, why aren't they going? And Aizawa goes, oh, those idiots are waiting for you to just say go. And President Mike goes, I'm going to wait like 5 minutes. So he waits 5 minutes. There's 10 minutes left. And he goes, what the hell are you doing? I already said go. Go, 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 go. Get the hell in there. And they're like, oh shit. So they all run in, and they start fighting, and they are losing points very quickly. Azure has already gotten around 120-ish. And that's all 1-pointers. She's only going after 1-pointers. She hasn't gone after 0-pointers yet. And Bakugo's going after 2-pointers. He's gotten maybe 100-ish. And Azura feels this rumble in the ground. And it's been like 5 minutes since everybody else got in there. So Nezu's like, release it. And she felt this rumble in the ground. And Azura's like, fun. Because she still loves to fight. She doesn't not fight anymore. She just loves to fight and have a challenge. But when she's pissed off, it's kind of hard to have a challenge. And you don't even remember the fight. So, everybody sees her run towards the rumbling in the area and like, does she want a death wish? And they're all running away. And she's like, what are you doing, cowards? This is going to be a good fight. And Bakugo goes, you want me to launch you? And she goes, can you do that without hurting yourself? And he goes, definitely. She goes, then, fine, let's do it. So he grabs both of her feet after she jumps above him. And he gets a full-powered blast in both of his hands at once. So he gets that ready, and he launches her at the speed of a bullet. And she hits the 0-pointer right in its freaking face. So Azura and Bakugo have been practicing moves since the beginning of the 10 months. Every once in a while they get together and they'd practice a specific kind of moveset. And Azura calls it the human bullet set. And it's where Bakugo literally uses her as a bullet, and he flings her as fast as possible. And Shoji has seen her do this and knows that she has fun working with Bakugo, and he's like, I don't like Bakugo, but I have to deal with Bakugo. Bakugo has been changing, so I kind of like him a little bit, but I don't like him. So Shoji has slowly accepted Bakugo. Shoji still doesn't like Bakugo, but he's slowly accepted Bakugo. And, yeah. So, we move on to the end of the exam, because she put her arms out in a weird pattern, which started her to spin when she was already spinning, so she started spinning even faster. And she had enough strength and speed to start punching the air and make air pressure. So she started using her air pressure to increase the spin that she had. And she put her arms at angles and she drove herself through the 0-pointer as fast as possible. Like a bullet. And she did this. She went through the 0-pointer's face and out the back of the head. And I'm shutting up my house for the night. So I'm about to go in my room, which is very lonely because my parents aren't home, but yeah. So my parents are arriving the day after today, which is tomorrow for me right this second, but for you it might be a few days ago. But she is going right through the 0-pointer, and Bakugo goes, yes, it worked. And she gets out of the 0-pointer's head, and she goes, oh, that was fun. She's a little woozy because she isn't used to spinning that fast. And Bakugo goes, it worked! And he runs up and hugs her, and she goes, little handsy, are we? And he sees where his hands are going, and he's like, oh, crap. And he feels this death stare on him. And he goes, oh, shit. And Shoji walks up behind him and goes, what are you doing to my sister? And he goes, celebrating what we've been working on and it actually working. And he goes, then you can release her ass before I drive your ass into the ground. And she goes, whoa, big bro. You don't need to do that. And she's still a little woozy from this spinning motion that she just literally felt. And he goes, yeah, I do. I don't like another man touching your ass in front of me. And she goes, whoa. He's not just a man. He's a Pomeranian, too. And Bakugo goes, oh, crap. And Shoji goes, yeah, I don't like a fucking dog. And slightly man to touch your ass. And she goes, you don't get a say in the matter. And she falls down because her dizziness is taking over. And she's like, whoa. She's literally acting completely woozy and uncontrollable. So, Shoji is like, okay, this is enough. And he walks up to her. He grabs her by the collar. And she's on the ground, dizzy. And he goes, we're going home and we're having a talk later. And she goes, no. And she has feet on the ground now. And she's slightly unwoozy. Or slightly back to balance. And she jumps on Bakugo and says, I'm going with him. And I won't be back till late. And she goes, Bakugo, that way. And she points to the exit. And he goes, okay. And all three hands are holding him on the back. Like Shoji did, or like Shoji kind of did for Mineta and Tsuyu on the cavalry battle. So, Bakugo is walking out of UA and he walks to a specific bakery. And this bakery is run by a girl with a cat quirk. And he goes, this is a really good bakery. And Azure sees this and goes, spicy cakes. What do they serve? And Bakugo goes, spicy cakes. And Azure goes, you know I don't like spicy food. And he goes, there's also sweet food. And apparently there's so sweet food that no one could survive it. And she goes, I take that challenge. And he goes, I think she heard you. And they hear running outside into the building. And this woman who has white hair and looks like a cat kind of person basically appears in front of them and goes, who has taken my challenge? And Azure goes, I have. And she goes, if you survive, you get it one whole lifetime free. And Azure goes, bet. And she goes, okay, level negative 15 sweets coming right up. And Azure goes, nope, level negative 15. And she goes, level negative 15 is what I say to sweet things. Spicy things, it's 1 to 10. We don't talk about the other 5 levels unless you really want to die. Bakugo goes, I take your challenge. And she goes, 2 people in 1 day. Now you guys are bold. Bakugo goes, I can handle any kind of spicy food. And she goes, if you survive and you're not dead on the ground or look dead on the ground, you get a lifetime free. And Azure goes, if it's that good and I like it after I have had a level negative 15, I'm coming here every goddamn day. And she goes, that's fair. That's fair. And for you, sir, and he goes, 15 on the spicy meter. And she goes, we got 2 bold ones. And the store's doors swing open. And, oh, I got a call. I'll be right back. After I was so rudely interrupted by my parents. So, they walk into this cafe, and Bakugo sits down, and Azura sits down, and the hostess that they have says, my name is Izumi. Izumi Midoriya. If anybody knows where this bakery's going. She goes, so, you guys wanted my challenge, didn't you? And she goes, yeah, I don't think you can really make things that sweet that will almost kill people. And she goes, no. You'll literally puke your guts out if you eat this. So, I have these waivers that say the deaths from my food do not actually count as me killing. And they sign it. They're like, what's the worst that could happen? So, she brings out a little tiny muffin. And it's a 1 inch by 1 inch cube muffin. And he's like, this is a strange shape. And she goes, this is 1 bottle of the world's hottest hot sauce mixed with a few other hot sauces, which makes it even hotter somehow. I don't know how I did it. It's just the same recipe I use over and over and over. So, yeah. And she brings out a bucket. And she goes, this is gelato. A very, very rich ice cream. But I added my own sweetener. So it's even richer. I don't know where I got my accent from. I'm sorry. It's even richer. So you better eat up. And she goes, ooh, what do I get to use? A shovel or a spoon? And she goes, you get to choose. And she pulls out a legitimate shovel, a serving spoon, a normal spoon, and a tiny spoon. And she goes, And Baku's laughing his ass off because she actually pulled out a shovel. And she goes, what? Someone's actually used this shovel before. Don't worry, I washed it. It's very, very clean. And she goes, I'll take the serving spoon. And she goes, bold, are we? And she goes, yeah. And she goes, also, no quirks allowed in the establishment. Did you not see the sign? And she goes, yeah, I saw the sign. Question. And she goes, yes. What if my quirk never turns off? And she goes, I don't understand. And she goes, my quirk can kind of never turn off. So I need 5 more spoons like this. And she holds out all of her arms and she goes, I'll be right back. And she runs into the back, gets 5 more of those spoons and hands them all to her and going, good luck. And she goes, I don't need luck. I got a bottomless stomach. And she goes, hey, you won't after this. And Bakugo goes, bottoms up. And he eats the thing and he sits there and she goes, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And he's like, holy crap, hot. And she goes, it will affect you negatively in 30 seconds. And he goes, what do you mean? Hot. And she's eating and she's shoveling it down. And after she's done eating it, and the hostess goes, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And it'll start affecting you negatively now. And her arms start to freeze over of how cold it was. It's not a brain freeze, it's a body freeze. And since her kinetic absorption makes all energy that hits her spread out through her entire body, So electricity is her one main weakness. Yes, electricity is her one main weakness. If she's not touching something with her other foot or both of her feet, it will kill her. So, yeah. And the hostess is like, okay, frostbite will commence now, and her fingers start to freeze, and she breaks them off. They grow back, and they start to freeze again. She breaks them off. And she keeps doing this, because each time, it seems to get slower and slower, and the host is like, wow, that's the first time someone survived that. And she goes, very special. And she keeps breaking off her fingers because they freeze over and she just bends them. She forcefully bends them, which breaks them off because of how cold they're getting. So the host is like, so you get a lifetime supply of food from here. And she goes, can I get one of those gelatos to go? And she goes, nope, sorry. Gelato's only for challenge. But I can give you a cake that's just as sweet. And she goes, a cake? I want the gelato, though. And she goes, no. No gelato. Only cake. I only served cake here. And Bakugo is currently sweating bullets and hyperventilating, basically. And the fire starts to cool down, and his hands are sweating, and he's like, give me water for hands or go boom. And he's just hyperventilating, and she's like, what's your quirk? And he goes, explosion. Nitroglycerin sweat. Give me water now. And she goes, okay, but you can only dunk your hands. You cannot drink. And he goes, don't need drink. Oh my god. Get water now. And she runs into the back, gets a bucket, fills it with water, and she brings it out, and he dips his hands in there, freezing them, basically, because she put cold water in there. And he goes, and after like 5 minutes, he calms down, and he's not burning from the heat. And he goes, survived! And he's on the ground panting, and he's like, oh, that hurt. And she goes, and it'll hurt the other way out, so you win. And she looks at Azure and goes, man, you're strong. And she starts talking with Azure and getting closer to her. And Baka goes, oi! And this is the first time he said oi in a while. And Azure's like, and he goes, oi, get away from her! She's mine! And Azure blushes at that statement, and she goes, whose? And he goes, oh shit. And Izumi Midoriya flicks over to her, or him, and says, so you've already claimed this little one. And she points at Azure and goes, oh, okay. You know, male cats and female cats normally have more than one mates. And she's just pulling out cat facts, mainly lion facts, because she thinks of herself as a lioness. And he goes, okay, how does that concern me? And she goes, maybe a little more fun too. And she's downright flirting with them, both of them. And Bakugo's having none of it. He's understanding none of it. And Azure is picking up a little bit of what she's throwing down. And Azure's like, we'll think about it. And grabs Bakugo's hand grabs Bakugo with all three arms on one side and says, we'll be back for another cake tomorrow. And she goes, the cakes will be ready in 24 hours. 24 hours. And they go, okay. So they walk home. And Mitsuki says, where the hell have you been? And he goes, level 15 challenge. And she goes, oh. Holy shit, you actually tried it. How was it? And he goes, hottest thing ever. And she goes, damn, you're lucky. And he goes, what? And she goes, only a very few people have actually tried the level 15 challenge. Some people pass out from the heat and the flavoring just by smelling it. And Azure goes, well, negative 15 challenge was actually kind of fun. And Mitsuki goes, you did what? And Azure goes, yeah, level negative 15 challenge was a bucket of gelato. It was actually really good. I think it was flavored vanilla on one layer, pistachio ice cream on the next. Never eat pistachio ice cream. And she goes, that took a little bit of the sweetness off for a second, and then it went back to strawberry, I think. I couldn't tell. It just tasted like sugar. But sugar good. And Shoji was over with Mina and Hagakure at Bakugo's house because Bakugo had a birthday that day, and Mitsuki invited everybody to celebrate it because they were getting closer as friends. And Shoji told them about the ass grabbing episode, and Mina says, yeah, I kind of saw that. And she goes, you freaked the fuck out. And Hagakure's like, oh, I wish I was in that block. I was in block alpha. Come on. And she's whining a little, and okay. So Hagakure is just in the kitchen, and she overhears the challenge, and she goes, guys. And Mina goes, what? And Shoji goes, huh? Hagakure goes, you know that bakery that opened up like a year ago that the heroes are addicted to? And they go, yeah. I heard that there's a level 15, a level negative 15 challenge. And Shoji goes, yeah, I also heard that she has people sign a waiver saying if they have medical problems or death from her food that it's not her fault. And they go, yeah, I heard the same thing. And then Jura and Bakugo walk in, and they go, oh, hey! And they go, and Jura and Bakugo go, you overheard the challenge thing, didn't you? At the exact same time. And they're like, yeah. And they all said it at the exact same time. And Mitsuki starts to laugh because this is an exact reference to a group of friends. And she goes, I'm going to go to the other room, and if you need anything, holler. And Bakugo goes, Mom? And she turns around being like, yeah? He goes, thank you for this. And he points to the people at the table, and she goes, oh, no problem. This is the last time you're going to be here to do this, so no problem. And I'm getting tired, so I'm going to end this one a little early. I know I said I'd do more, but I'm going to end this one a little early because I want people to have my reference. If you guys get it, yay! If you guys don't, oh well. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Talk to you later. Bye!